Are you a career executive who has a lot of uncertainty around how do I grow my career given these uncertain times? Well, in this video, I want to talk about that. How do you grow an executive career when there's a great deal of uncertainty in today's times? Because let's face it, we are receiving a lot of news, a lot of media attention, a lot of talks and assessments around all the different changes that are happening in the economy, and things are very uncertain. Prices are rising. A lot of companies are holding back. A lot of companies have laid off their workers as well. And these are uncertain times in any different industry. So if you're a career executive and you're wondering, maybe you're concerned about your potential for growth, or maybe you're concerned about opportunities. How do I create opportunities? Are there any opportunities for me to escalate in my career path? If that's what you're wondering, then this is what I want to share with you. Some key strategies on how do you grow an executive career in uncertainty. And especially if there are talks, if or when there will be a recession, how do you prepare for that and have certainty around yourself so that you can keep moving in momentum? Because the reason why it feels so difficult to navigate an executive career in these times is because a lot of times we're trying to grow a career path using untailored advice. Untailored advice is advice you see from the internet. Articles, blogs, from media as well, from newspapers, right? And maybe even certain information that we get on the internet. And this is largely untailored. Because when we read articles and we read books and maybe we go and we listen to these news columns, what we're hearing is a general advice for general workers. But executive career paths are completely different. The way that you navigate executive career paths, the way that you navigate growth as an executive is very different from a general worker. It's very different from somebody who is a mid-level manager. It's very different from somebody who is a more general worker or who is primarily involved in the implementation of the tasks. As an executive, your roles are completely different. Your roles are more in line with the strategic direction. And therefore, if you've been trying to grow your career, but you've been listening to untailored advice, that's exactly why it feels so difficult or uncertain even to be able to navigate these uncertain terrains. So what is necessary is understanding, well, what is the differences between an executive career and general advice? There are key differences. So what I want to share with you in this video are three key strategies on how do you navigate the executive growth trajectory in these uncertain times, especially if or when there is a recession. How do you navigate that? And by the way, these three strategies are exactly the same three strategies that I share with my executive coaching clients. Every single week as I train my executives, how do they navigate their career paths? How can they meet their career goals? These are the same three strategies that I share with them and that I'm about to share with you. So let's go. Strategy number one is to set clear career growth goals that align with true values. Because let's face it, as an executive, there are characteristics that make you unique, and there's characteristics of your career path that make it unique as well. And up until now, as you've been moving up in your leadership, reaching higher levels of your career growth as well into executive levels, you have successes along the way. But the successes that you've been achieving, that you've been able to achieve these successes, didn't get there by accident. You had to become a different person. You had to adopt different values. You had to understand the characteristics of who you are and how your own characteristics really wove into the characteristics and the values of the company. So when you set clear career goals that align with true values, I'm not just referring to values that sound good. So here's what I mean by that. Oftentimes when I talk to my executive clients and I ask them, what are things that are important to you? What are values that you have? They say things like, well, integrity is very important. And another thing that's really important is honesty. And another thing that's important is autonomy and having attention to details. Now, these things are really nice to have, and they're very positive attributes. But the thing is, sometimes these values aren't the true values that are necessary and sufficient for your career growth. They are nice to haves. They are idealistic to have, but they may not be the thing that is necessary and the thing that is truly linked to what will get you there. So the key is to bring it home in terms of what have been the values that have been characteristic of you, and values that have been characteristic in the organization, in the roles that you've had up until now, that allowed you to be able to succeed and achieve what you have achieved so far. And when you're able to articulate those values clearly and concisely, and therefore setting your own personal career goals, because your career goals are not only going to be for your personal enjoyment and your personal fulfillment, your career goals are going to be directly as a result of being able to solve real problems for the company in which you work. And this is even more important, especially in these uncertain economic times. They want to know how you can bring and what you can bring to solve real problems that they will be having, and especially dynamic problems in marketplace uncertainties. So what are the values that are unique to that? Set your career goals linked to that, and realize that your career goals are not just for you. They're to help the company solve these real problems. Right? So that is strategy number one, is to set those career goals, align with the values. And the values are true values. They're not nice to haves, they are true values. So I want to hear from you. Comment below, share with me, what have your true values been? What have you extrapolated from having self-awareness? What have you been able to extrapolate from reflecting on your journey so far? What are your true values? Comment below. And if this is valuable to you, give me a thumbs up. And remember to subscribe to my channel, ring that notification, because every single week I release new videos that help you executives go reach to your most meaningful goals. And I hope to see you in my next video. Strategy number 2, build a business case around each milestone. Because let's face it, when you're setting career goals, there are certain milestones you want to reach. It could be a financial milestone. It could be a job title milestone. It could be a trajectory milestone, right? It could be a milestone in terms of influence, or it could be a milestone in terms of projects or relationships that you are building. So whatever it is, you have certain milestones. And these milestones are important to you. They're your personal career goals that are fulfilling and inspiring for you. But in order to have these milestones met, you need to have certain networks in place. You need to have certain buy-in in place. So the best way to receive buy-in is to understand, how are these milestones that are important to you personally, how are they going to help the company, your peers, the stakeholders, the investors? How are they going to help the C-suite, your other peer executives as well? How is it going to help them to achieve what's most important to them? So this is important to understand, what's the business case. Because as an executive, your key role is no longer in implementation. You're no longer the one who does the thing. When you were an individual contributor, that was your primary role. You had to be good at what you did. You had to be skilled technically because you were hired to do a certain role, and you got good at it. You had the routine of implementing those things every day. As an executive, it's less about the hard skills of what you do. It's more now around, how do you build the business case? It's more around diplomacy. It's more around effective communication. It's more around getting buy-in. It's more around collaboration. And it's definitely more around how you see the interconnectedness of things. This is the business case. It's all of that. And if you're somebody who's listening and you're like, yes, there's certain weaknesses that I have. It could be diplomacy. It could be, for example, articulating that business case. It could be thinking about the interconnectedness. If you're wondering, how do I develop that skill? Then I invite you to work with me. Below this video, in the description, there is a link below this video. And when you click that link, it is simply a form that you fill out to book a call with either myself or a member of my team. And it's really, that initial call is to explore whether or not this is the right fit for you. And if it is, then you're going to be invited to come in. And every single week, there's going to be training that I provide, tailored training for an executive career path. How can you grow your career path? How do you develop your diplomacy? How do you articulate your value? How do you build that business case? And more importantly, how do you see the interconnectedness between things, so that you can have the strength and certainty to know how to navigate your executive growth, even during these uncertain economic times. Strategy number 3, embrace all sides of the pursuit. All sides. Because when it comes to pursuing growth in your executive career path, there's going to be ups and downs, positive and negatives. There's going to be benefits and drawbacks. There's going to be maybe elements of it that aren't quite as inspiring to you, and elements of it that are truly and deeply inspiring to you. Life gives you both. And as an executive, there may be relationships that are more of a challenge, relationships that are more supportive, and so on. And the key is to be having momentum moving forward. And the way to have momentum is to embrace both sides, because your pursuit will involve both sides. There's no such a thing as growth without challenges, or growth without negatives, or relationships without the other side of it as well. So the moment you can learn to embrace both sides of the pursuit, this is where you can grow in your confidence. This is where you can grow in your self-esteem and become the person you need to become to continue to have momentum in your career path. And so if you are somebody who's looking for more content around it, I have a video coming up next, and this is to show you the strategies on how do you develop the executive presence. If you are looking for a little bit more support on that executive presence, then that video is coming right up next. Don't go anywhere.